Okay, Parashat Toldot. I'm going to start with Arav Toldot Yaakov Yosef. Especially for Mr. Mango Tree. Arav Toldot Yaakov Yosef says that the two stars of our parasha really being Yaakov and Esav, the difference between Yaakov and Esav, you can really see, start seeing by the names. Let's start with Yaakov. In Yaakov it says, "V'acharei ken," and after that, Yatsa Achiv, his brother came out, "V'yodo chesed be'akev Esav." He's holding in the heel of Esav. "V'yikra shmo Yaakov." Lo Yaakov, Yaakov. Now, Akev, the heel, is the end of the body, and also we call Ikveta de Meshicha, the time of Mashiach, which is going to be at the end. And Yaakov, by doing what he's doing, and of course, Dan Givron, his name, is really establishing for us a way of life. And that way of life is life of consistency, is of a methodological and systematic discretion, to always see the akev, the heel of everything. In other words, to always see the end, or the end result in mind, before you're going to start doing something. Something like, Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila, da me'ayin bata u'le'ayin ata olech, and so on and so forth. You have to see the end of things, or have in mind the end of things, when you start doing it, or even before you do it. As Chazal tell us in Masechet Avot, Ezu Chacham Roeh et hanolad. He is a wise man who sees, or who is able to foresee the end result, whatever will happen. A person needs to check himself all of his time and all his actions to see and determine if there is a purpose in what he's doing. And what's the purpose of his actions? To try to make an effort to see as far as he can the end result of his actions that he's about to do now. As we spoke about Yeshiva this week, we talked about Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai and Rabban Gamliel, that were able to have the foresight to be able to see things in the future, that if it wasn't for these two individuals, and mainly Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, establishing Jewish life the way we have them today, I don't think if it wasn't for the two of them, we would have been here today. I'm going to tell you something about your life. Sometimes in life, or should I say many times in life, it is not just about the things you do. It's also about the things you didn't do. In other words, sometimes you need to take actions, and because you didn't take actions, because you didn't do it, there's going to be a consequences for your lack of doing as well. And at the end of the Zohar on Parashat Toldot, there is something that gives us an indication on how far Yaakov Avinu was actually thinking, his ability to think into the future, and the result of his actions and decisions that he made for himself, for his children, and for us, and for our descendants from this point on. And it goes like this: Ba'et ha'i, at that time, שראה יעקב את עצמו בכל אלו הברכות. Yaakov Avinu saw how those brachot, those blessings that he was giving, fall into place with himself in it. Amar, he says, באלו מהן נשתמש כעת? Which one should I use now? I have this whole arsenal of brachot. Which one should I go? Which path should I go? Amar, בברכה החלשה שביניהן. The weakest bracha of all. And what is that bracha? The last bracha that his father blessed him. ואף על פי שגם היא ברכה חזקה, even though this is also a strong bracha by itself, Amar eina chazaka b'shlitat ha'olam hazeh karishonot. That bracha has nothing much to do with this world as much as the earliest brachot that he got from his father. Ekach ata bracha zo. I should take this bracha and I should use it. That's the bracha I'm going to use now. Ve'etche kol ha'acherot, and I will reject all the other brachot lezman sheyeh nitzrach li ulevanai acharai, for the time in which I would need into the future and for my children to use into the future. And matai yezot, when is going to be? Uyeh bezman shitkaptzu kol harumot la'avit banai min ha'olam. It's going to be the time when all the nations are going to gather against my children to chas v'shalom wipe them out from this world. I'm going to leave this bracha in their arsenal to use, because you can't fight the whole entire world with weapons and of mass destruction and all kind of fleets, and we need something else to fight that. And we're going to use those brachot of Yaakov Avinu at that time. Of course, we need to make ourselves appropriate to receive the brachot, and we need to fix all the holes in our vessels in order to contain those brachot. But that's what we're going to use at the time. Why? Because it says shekatuv kol goim savevuni, all the goyim, all the nations will surround me. And how I'm going to deal with them? B'shem Hashem ki amilam. Now pay attention. Sabuni gam sevavuni. And then it says 3 times. Savuni chidvorim, right? So that's how they're going to swirl around me like hornets, like swirling all around me. But I'm going to use Shem Hashem. Now, here we have Sabuni, right? Sevavuni, Sabuni, and the Sevavuni, right? 3 times for the 3 brachot that would have remained, that he did not use them. So, and which are these? The bracha rishona that his father blessed him, the bracha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu blessed him, and the brachot in which the Malach gave him, later on, when they were fighting and so on and so forth. And in other words, and now, this is in terms of Yaakov. And now let's go to Esav. So Esav, dailo bebracha. His father also gave him a bracha, and that's enough. Why? The second bracha that his father gave him, that's enough. And then Yaakov says like this, against Esav, it's enough that he has those brachot. And then his father gave him, and then he went to Padam Aram and so on and so forth. But all the rest of the brachot, I will push them against the kings and the nations that are going to come against my descendants. So it says from here, you can learn from here that those brachot, Yaakov Avinu left for us and for our children into the future in order to deal with the goyim. And the Rav Toldot Yaakov Yosef says, Esav milshon asiyah. Esau, la'asot, Esav milshon asiyah. Esav does not stop to think before he does an action. He's spontaneous. He doesn't think about the end results of his actions. He's like, picks the stuff and goes and goodbye and good luck, right? He doesn't look if he's going to lose or he's going to gain in ruchniut or in gashmiut from his action. He just does it. Whatever happens. He doesn't care. Esav does not look at the purpose of what it is. He lives the moment, the right now, with tremendous desire to fulfill his immediate desires and to quiet down his need to receive all the time. He needs constant giving and receiving and immediate gratification. As the Parashat says, Al ken kara shmo Edom. That's why he calls him Edom. Edom, by the way, it's very interesting why it's called Edom. We know why those mountains are called Edom because we see it. If you're going to go to the Jordan Valley, well, the mountains on the eastern side are red. Why? Because the sun sets in the west, and therefore those mountains become red, and that's Edom, right? However, it's called Edom, and Esav is associated with Edom because of his essence. He cannot see the thing. His eyes are like bloodshed. They're completely red. He doesn't see anything, right? And that's the same thing. When Esav felt like, quote unquote, he's going to die, he says, lama li ze bechor? Why do I need this? You want it, yalla, you'll be the bechor, go ahead. And then what did he say? He thinks about the immediate gratification. Havli mina adom adom azay, yalla, give me something to eat. I'm hungry here. I want some shakshuka or some red lentils. I want to eat this. I'm hungry. I don't care about all those nonsense that you're telling me. You take it immediately. Ta'ava, red, desire. You understand? He didn't think about the consequence of this thing. And it's the same thing. A person that feels something, the people will tell you, I'm a truthful person. I say what I feel. I don't think about it. Argument say, I think you're ugly. Say, hey, you know what? You're ugly. You're stupid. I'm stupid. And then you're going to, and we're going to see what he does with it. I'm going to justify it. I'm a truthful person. Maybe, but you're also an idiot. Okay? So, as the Ramban tells us in his famous essay that he wrote, "Chashov hadibur beterem shetotziyeh mipicha." Think about what you're going to say it before you're going to say it. Once the word is out, it's out. You can't bring it back. It's out. Think about what you're saying beforehand. And the Chachamim tell us that a person has to hold himself before his action, before he's going to talk, and with kol hakoach, with all his power, and he needs to take all this build-up energy to really, that is emerging, and to really try to take it and now channel it again in a way that you could see the end results of your actions. I mean, I told you this a million times. It's very easy if you going to analyze, for example, argument's sake, why are arguments like why you guys are here today, right now, in this happy Rosh Chodesh and also a Turkey day, right? Chag HaHodaya. For the us, every day is Thanksgiving. We say thanks to Hashem every day. Hodu Hashem kitov, ki l'olam chazdo. That's how we start our davening, right? Hodu Hashem kitov. So every day is a Chag HaHodaya. Every day is Thanksgiving. You need to think about this. Now, when we have those moments of, let's see, how did I get here? You trace yourself back, and you could say exactly that every decision that you made, it's a yes or no, right, left, right, wrong, whatever you want to call this, right? There's every action that you take has two, at least, ways that you can go, and you could basically trace yourself to that moment in which you made that decision to do this or to do the other. It's easy to do backwards. We should be able to develop this ability to stand at the crossroad, to stand at the fork on the road, and to be able to contemplate and to see the results of what is that we're about to do, or what is that we're about to say, the ramification of such a thing. When we have a systematic contemplation, as Yaakov Avinu had given us, it's going to be beshita. That's going to be the way you make decisions. You can have actually a life. When you are sporadic like this, you're doing this, you're doing that. No shikul dat. Shikul dat is what? No, shikul dat is what we said before, discretion. We just do things. No discretion whatsoever. That's very bad. And then it says, Vayera Esav ki berach Yaakov et Yitzchak et Yaakov, and Esav saw that Yitzchak blessed Yaakov, v'shilach padan Aram, לקחת לו משם אישה, בברכו אותו, ויצא, and that's when Esav sees on the side, right? Look at this very carefully. He stands on the side. He sees his father giving his brother a bracha. He says to him, go to Aram, go all the way down to the southern borders of Turkey, and go get yourself a wife from there. And I'm warning you, buddy, don't take yourself a Canaanite woman. So, all of a sudden, Vayishma Yaakov El Aviv, and Yaakov listened to it, and he went and to his mother, and he went over there. Vayar Esav Kiraot Bnot Canaan Be'enei Yitzchak Aviv. But then all of a sudden, I mean, he has a moment of epiphany. He's telling him, oh, the problem is the girls. I took the wrong women. That's the problem. Then after he saw what Yitzchak is telling Yaakov, all of a sudden he said, no, the problem is the woman. That's why I lost everything. So what did he do? וילך עשיו אל ישמעאל ויקח לו את מחלת בת ישמעאל בן אברהם אחות נוויות על נשב לו לאישה. And look at the word that the Torah is using. He says bat Avraham, right? Ishmael ben Avraham, Ishmael the son of Avraham. Why? To indicate to you that he was going after Yichus. He thought that the reason for his problems is what? The wives. He took some Canaanite women. So as a result of the bracha of Yaakov and so on and so forth, he assumed that the problem is with the girls. Now, look at what Rashi says now. He didn't take machlat and he threw the other woman out or divorced the other one. He took her on top of them. Machlat is like machala. She's like a disease, this woman. Now, without getting into Kabbalah, what machlat is and so on and so forth, but let's look at Rashi. Rashi says, Hosif risha al rishato. Not only he was wicked and he was like, she was even more wicked than him. Why? Shelo giresh et harishonot. He didn't throw away the other one, he just added another one. In other words, the new wife was not such a big difference in ways of conducting herself than the other ones. The only difference is that she was the granddaughter of Avraham Avinu. That's it. That doesn't mean anything. You have to look at the actions of the person, not in which lineage she came from. I mean, you go to Israel, you have people with lineage between here and Gedolei Olam, and they're wicked. And yet you have a Baal Tshuva that sits somewhere here in Queens, and he's probably Tzaddik Yesod Olam, the whole world stands on his shoulder. Without Yechus or Tzaddik, it doesn't matter. Don't look at who the grandfather, look who the person is. So, according to the Shem Mishmuel, that way that Esav is really conducting himself teaches us tremendously about Esav. He says, Vayare Esav kiraot, vayilech Esav el Ishmael, and he says, V'nireh she'esav berish'o. In his wickedness he did, from beginning to an end. Why? Because as much as in the beginning he didn't feel by himself that that anything is wrong with him, or anything is wrong with the way he's conducting himself. Everything according to him was, what do you want from me? I'm doing the right thing. He realized all of a sudden, because his father told him, maybe the problem is the girls. Of course, anybody knows what's the gematria of Esav? Hey, Bobby Brown, don't sleep.
376.
Huh?
376.
376. What else is 376? Shalom, that's right.
Sushi.
Okay, I like that one. Sushi, that's good. Shalom, Esav, shalom. In other words, Esav was shalem. As much as sushi is a complete dish. Yes, so Zovar Esav was shalem, was shalom. Very good, Idan. In other words, he thought at the beginning that everything is his, everything is okay, he gets it all, like no problem, I don't have to put any effort, it's all mine and mine and mine, right? All of a sudden, he says in 1 second everything turns around, and all of a sudden he becomes a slave to Yaakov, or secondary to Yaakov. He should have said, 1 second, why did this happen to me? Well, I probably did something wrong. But of course, Esav would never admit he did anything wrong. There was an Israel in I don't know when it was, in the 80s or whatever it was. There was a commercial, because they used to have a lot of accidents. You always have to show up and shake their hand in the middle of the class, right? You want to come? Hey, come, give me 1 second. Come here. Since you like so much, come here. Come. Sit down on your knees. Sit down on your knees.
Uh-oh.
So, hello everybody. That's what's your name? Avner, okay, Avner, that's it. You got free. Everybody wants a shidduch. Please take Avner. He's a nice specimen, looking for a shidduch.
Oh my God.
Now, so the commercial was like this. They used to have a lot of accidents. People drove, in a very reckless way. So what did they do? It says, Ani Hashem. I'm fault. It's not Hashem. Akvish Hashem. The road. Hayarechev Hashem. The Geshem. Ani lo Hashem. It's not my fault. It's everything else, everybody else, everything else's fault. But it ain't my fault. Esav has it the same way. It's not me. But I do anything wrong. You have enough time, Sam?
Oh, for sure.
Bobby Brown. All right. So he says nothing. He says, therefore, the fault is, with my wives. Why? They really are Kanaaniyot, and the bracha cannot be held because they're Kanaaniyot. So let me take somebody else. He was very happy and content with his action and with himself. He didn't see anything wrong with himself. And this didn't even come up when he lost everything that he had to Yaakov. He is always perfect. And he was thought that it was all his wife, but in a way it's not really the wickedness that was the problem, right? So he didn't say, my wives are really not like my mother, they're not big tzaddiket, they're wicked women. He didn't say that. He says, no, it's because their father is a Canaanite. He didn't even see anything wrong with the way they act. He was okay with that. He liked it. So just the yichus. Okay, so let me take somebody with some lineage in a background over there, and that's what it is. That's why he took from the doors of Ishmael a girl with a good lineage, from a good name. Maybe over there I'll be able to get back everything that I lost to my brother. And of course he wanted to kill Yaakov, and he had no intention of getting it by doing something positive. He said, okay, let's kill him. It'll be easier. But the same thing as he saw. He saw the women. For him, women were just an object. They were not of any value to them. He didn't see the women, his women, as the pillar or the centerpiece of his household. And that's, by the way, what you should be looking at your wives or your future wives as the most important part in the center column, or maybe the only column in your house. That's why we need to take a wife who has a proper Jewish thinking with Jewish virtues and values in terms of education, in terms of Yirat Shamayim, in terms of working hard, in terms of making sure a husband gets his big belly and whatever it is that he has and coming to Yeshiva to learn. I don't want you home, gotta learn. He saw wives like they did in Talmud. Why do I have a wife? In other words, how do I have women for? Sex, that's it, nothing more than that. That's the difference, by the way, between a Jewish home and a non-Jewish home in terms of our values. Women are not objects. Women are not objects. Women are the most important ingredient in making of or not making of a Jewish home. According to the women, that's how the house would be. And you need to think about it. Again, it's not about your beauty. That's when you say, oh, Rabbi, but I gotta be attracted to her, don't I? Where are you over there? Where is it? Oh, you over there, yeah. Yeah, you. And I said to you, you're right. If you're an Esav, that's why you have to think about it, right? If you're an Esav, that's what you gotta think. When you buy a car based on what it looks like or how it drives.
How it drives.
How it looks. What car do you drive?
The bus.
Okay, let's not stop there. Let's not go there. Let me ask you a question. F-150 or Ferrari?
Ferrari.
F-150, you're wrong, you see? F-150. Try to go over some obstacles. Try to go overlanding with a Ferrari. You ain't going out of the parking lot. Right? Overlanding, mister? And what do you think life is? Life is a long 4x4 overland trip with ups and downs and ditches. It's a lot of fun. If you think that life is an Autobahn in Germany, you're wrong. It's the most boring thing. How are you going to pull yourself through stuff like this? See?
You need the right vehicle.
You need the right vehicle, you're right.
Plane. A jet.
All right, be quiet. Anyway. So again, he thought it would be very, very easy to do so, just to get rid of them. And in this midah, Yaakov and Esav, the Shem Mishmuel said us, was the complete opposites. Yaakov always saw himself, mibchinat akev, always saw himself at the end. He didn't see himself, oh, I'm the head, I'm the top of the things. And he brings from his father, as the Gemara says, Masechet Brachot Daf Yud Gimel, De'akoreh Yisrael Yaakov eno over mishum aseh. We know that if a person called, the Gemara tells us, Hakoreh le'Avraham, Avram over be'aseh. Because why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, from now on your name is going to be Avraham. But Yaakov himself, he says, ולא יקרא שמך יעקב אלא ישראל. And then Yaakov himself many times refers himself as Yaakov. The Torah refers to Yaakov as Yaakov and sometimes as Israel for different reasons, but there's something about it. In other words, Esav didn't see anything wrong with his actions and he saw himself complete. Yaakov always saw himself, listen, there's somewhere for me to get better. There's something for me to work on. I'm never complete. I want to do more. I want to do more. You're going to be done with your work when you're going to be dead. Your livelihood depends on your willingness to progress and develop and work on yourself and become better. And he continued bringing from his father. His father, by the way, was the mechaber of Nenezer and so on and so forth. He says that the Gemara says that Kol hakoreh Avraham, Avraham over be'aseh, as we just said. And the reason with Yaakov is not because he sees himself mishum akev. In other words, after he fought with an angel, and he fought with people, and he won, he still says, listen, I have something to learn. I'm not perfect, I'm far from it. And learning about those midot of Esav, it should be something that we should be very careful from. And the Shem Shmuel continues, it says, and I'm quoting, וזה לימוד גדול לכל איש, and you should learn from this very, very carefully. אם רואה דלא סליג בנהורה דנשמתה, if he sees that he doesn't have a spark in his neshama, אל יתלה בדברים צדדיים. Don't put it on or blame it on external things or sidetracked and so on and so forth. And he says, it's not my fault. It's whatever else it is. Don't get distracted by nonsense. That's what Esav does. He puts the blame on everything else besides himself. He says, the fault is mine. It's my fault. Mi culpa. ומוסיף אומץ בתורה ובמצוות כמידת יעקב. And then you have to be brave and strong like Yaakov Avinu to add on in Yirat Shamayim and Maaseh Torah and learning Torah, because that's what Yaakov Avinu does. And Rabotai, not for nothing, we call girls' schools Bet Yaakov. Not for nothing. Or you could say, well, you know, when I was a child, the reason why I'm such a bum is when I was a child, my mother weaned me when I was too young. My father did not acknowledge my, achievements. My grandmother did not rock me in the carriage. This one was this. My teacher was a wicked woman. My coach, any excuse that you want in the book. Besides, hey, listen, I was I didn't do anything. I was lazy. I was this. I was that. I need to fix myself. No, it's nobody's fault. It's yours. because you have the ability to sit in the driver's seat of your life and drive the car. If you in the middle of driving your car decide to move to the other side, that's why you should not buy certain electric cars. I don't want to mention names, but it begins with a T. Tata, no. And you should, if you're going to move to the passenger side while the car is driving, well, guess what's going to happen?
You're screwed.
You are. You're dead. Who told you to leave the driver's? It's your life, and you are in motion now. Don't sit down and start steering your life and your actions to a positive way. You're not doing it. You're blaming somebody else. You're blaming your mechanic who didn't clean the windshield. So you know what? The windshield is dirty, so I'm not driving this car. But the car is going. It's nobody's fault but yours. It's even a Led Zeppelin song like this. Nobody's fault but mine. You should listen to it. Hey, Bobby Brown, listen to it. And it says that the Torah comes to teaching us, according to the Shem Mishmuel, that this is Ma'aseh Esav, to apply the difficulties and the problem that you have in life into other things. And we see by there's two ways of conducting themselves, two different realities that are completely polarized, completely different one another. And the great wondering is that those two forces of Yaakov and Esav operate within inside each and every one of us all the time. By the way, that's why we don't have such big leaders, because we ourselves not the leaders in all scales. A leader takes responsibility. He's responsible. He has a vision. He carries the vision. But we don't want to have a vision. We want to have somebody else's vision. Because when things go bad, guess what? Your fault. You told me to do it. Look, your choice. You had a choice. Did I put a gun to your head and said, do it? No, you followed me. It's not my fault. Oh, it didn't work out for me because I had bad influence when I was a kid. What do you mean you had bad influence? How about all the kids that had the same influence and chose to do something else? What are you fooling? Anybody but yourself? No. You're fooling yourself, not anybody else. Or maybe the psychologist that charge you $175 an hour to hear the same, sad stories over and over and over again about how miserable you are. You're not miserable. Get up and move. Maybe you're spoiled, but you ain't miserable. Go move to, I don't know, live in some village in Central America. Maybe you'll become tougher. Go sleep on the floor. And you see how good it is. Maybe this is why you guys should go camping a little bit more often. And don't say, oh, my wife doesn't let me go. Tell your wife, honey, here's a checkbook, I'm gone. If your wife's in a problem, send them to me, I'll talk to them. By the way, what do you think you have grandparents for? If you have kids, let them stay with the grandparents. You and your wife can go work together. By the way, if you're going to go on like a real difficult trip, when it's really, really difficult, most likely you're going to have better marriage, because now you know that the two of you can actually overcome obstacles in life, instead of putting the blame on everybody else. Oh, it's your parents. Oh, my parents, your parents. You know what I'm saying? Overlanding Incorporated. So when are you buying your Jeep?
Like 10 years.
10 years? You're young. Get your Jeep now, start working it. When you're ready to fly off the nest, you already have a car, dummy. Then you're going to say, time is going to come. You say, I'm sorry, I can't go. I don't have a car. Excuses again. Now, this is existing again. It's inside of us, and our job is to choose all the time on which way you're going to go. The way of Esav that wants to swallow everything and receive everything and not give everything and put the blame on everybody else. Or you want to be a true leader to do it to the derech of Yaakov Avinu by observing, contemplating, and taking responsibility for your actions. As the Ramchal writes, "Ve'ha'olech be'olamo Belo itbonenut, a person that goes in life without observing, im tova darko ra'ah, whether my way is good way or a bad way. Hineu kesomeh haolech al sfat hanahar, is like a blind man who walking on the edge of the river, right? Asher sakranato vadai atzuma. He has tremendous dangers. V'ra'ato korova mi'atzalato. Most likely, something bad is going to happen to you, and something good is going to happen to you. You got to be very, very careful. And he gives us a rule. Yeh adam ma'ayen al ma'asav kulam. You have to be ma'ayen. Ma'ayen is to look deep, really deep, on all your actions. All your actions. Umefakeach al kol derachav, and supervising and observing all your actions. Shelo lehaniach lehatzmo hergel ra umidah ra, that you would not even develop or start acquiring some bad trait within you. For example, things are tough, right? Things are hard. So instead of saying, well, let me see what I can do to make myself out of it, what most people do, start drinking. Shots, that's right. Shot to the heart, and you're to blame. You're giving life a bad name. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? You start self-medicating yourself. Oh, I don't drink, I just do CDBs. CDB, well, CBD, I don't know, yeah, Citizens Broadcasting Radio, right? You're talking like this, right? Oh, I just, it's not, it's just to relax myself. Start relaxing yourself, sit down, channel it in a positive way, sit down, write a plan, how are you going to come out of it? Sit down, observe, says, how did I get to this thing? So you won't do it again. Because when you take your shot and you get up in the morning, the demons are bigger. When you take a split, the demons are even bigger. Because, it's not good, and then you're going to start neglecting. Sit down, analyze it, take responsibility, make a list. Well, I did this, I did this, I did this. You're right. The problem came with the decision I made on this date at that time. That was the decision. I should not have made this, I should have done this. Take responsibility. And make sure not to do so. Stop praying to Hashem. Say, Ribono Shel Olam, Mishanti u'miftachi. I'm leaning upon you. I trust you. Talk to Hashem, pray. A person is sick, he has better chances to cure himself by praying than to actually go to the doctors and pray for the doctors don't care about you. You think that you think you are like the center of the world of the doctor gives you a second thought when he goes home, that's it, it's done, it's over. You're staying in the hospital waiting for the doctor, the Messiah, to come to you. At least the Messiah will come one day. Doctors, he does his rounds. And he says, Kol sheken, even more so, not only midah, avera upesha, when you're doing averot, when you sin, והנני רואה צורך לאדם, and I see, the Ramchal says, to a person who should be מדקדק ושוקל דרכיו. Every single day you should measure and examine what you had done today. כסוחרים הגדולים, like great merchants. If you have diamonds, you're dealing with diamonds. You're not going to take your parcels of, let's say, 300 carats of diamonds, and you're going to use it until it's done without ever weighing it. You're always going to say, okay, I used 10 carats today, so instead of 300, it's 290. Then the next day I took this. You want to know what's going on. Or your money. You need to give an account where your money is going. And he says, if they're going to do it like this, they always have to measure their job, the essence, in order for them not to go bad. ויקבע עיתים ושעות לזה. שלא יהיה משקלו הרי. In other words, you should dedicate yourself time that you're going to so-called sit down with yourself. I remember my father, alav shalom, used to say, he used to tell me like this, he said, every night when I go to sleep, before I close my eyes, I'm telling you, my father used to tell me, I sit down and I think about what I did today. I give an account of what I did today. How can I do it better? How can I do it different? How can I make sure not to make a mistake every single night? That's what my father used to do. And Kirava toledahu bechachamim. It's because, listen, when you are accumulating, errors, it's like math. You make a mistake in the first line on your equation, you carry it all over down, and then the whole thing is worth nothing. You did pilpulim be'alma, but the reality is wrong. And that's what Chazal tells us in Bava Batra and Daf Ayin Chet. Al ken yomru moshlim bo cheshbon. Al ken yomru moshlim beyitzram. Bo v'nechashev cheshbono shel olam. Hefsed mitzvah keneged schara. V'schar avera keneged hefseda. Always look at yourself. And I always do that. I always say, okay, I went to Yeshiva to learn today. We learn in the morning. We learn at night. We learn in the afternoon. What could I have done better today? I've been doing this for years. What could I have done better today? And I said, nothing. Okay, so tomorrow I'll do the same thing. But I'll tell you, argument's sake, I didn't. But let's say I went to a movie today. What did you watch? I don't know. I watched Frozen 13, like frozen broccoli, Ooh. Was it good? I don't know. I couldn't watch, what was it?
21 Bridges.
Terminator?
Top Gun.
Oh.
Top Gun 2. It could have better than frozen broccoli. Oh, well, maybe I should have watched, I don't know, this movie. So you see, you can always regret. And I always do that. And if I did something that I think that it wasn't worthwhile to do, I'll try to make sure the next day, tomorrow, I'm not going to do it. Or if I'm going to come to the same situation, I'm not going to do it. It's not worth it. I mean, I would like to think that I'm not an idiot. Chazal told us it's like a kelev, like a dog, hashav al kio, who eats his own vomit. You made a mistake. Why are you going to do it again? What's wrong with you? And Rabotai, you should look at the Mesilat Yesharim if you want to look at the fantastic book. Fantastic. That's the book to look at. Mesilat Yesharim. Path to the Just. Unbelievable. Read it from the introduction all the way to the end.
But don't you need like a kavruta?
Well, better off you do it alone than you don't do it because you don't have a chavruta. You're right. It's better off that you do it actually with the Rebbe who understands why this book was written all together. And then maybe you'll be able to reach the last gate of Ruach HaKodesh, of enlightenment. And this is really the best way to really conduct your world in terms of your internal choosing and your external world, how you actually choose your world. Always measure, always measure. Should I do it? Should I do it? Is it worthwhile? Not worthwhile. Is it something better for me to do? Yes. For example, let's say I'm going to give you $10,000 to buy a car. You have only $10,000 to buy a car. Are you going to buy Fiat 500 or are you going to buy yourself a Tacoma? Yeah, what? Tacoma. That's why next time you're going to sit next to me, I like you. Of course. Why? I mean, it's very simple. Hey, the car is going to last me longer. So it's better use for my money. But it's a better color. I don't care about the color, but I drive the car on the outside. You see, you measure what you do. And of course, your measurement has to be rational. It has to make sense. Unfortunately, what we do all the time, our actions don't make sense. And because we know our actions don't make any sense, we need to start justifying why we're doing what we're doing. What we know is wrong, we say to everybody that is right. And by the way, guys, that's the way of Esav. That's not the way of Yaakov. You're not going to give you on the path of Yaakov Avinu if you're going to act and think like Esav. Somebody's telling you something is wrong. Think about it 1 second. Well, maybe the person is something, maybe he sees something I don't see. Well, you know what? He's right. That's why you have to do one of the halachot in Shulchan Aruch, aseh lecha rav. Aseh lecha rav, in other words, acquire yourself a mentor that will guide you through life, some spiritual navigator. Because your body is just as blind as you are. And then you want to do what? Try to run out of this world like a bat out of hell? Right? That's why you have to have a mentor, aseh lecha rav, that will guide you. And that's the way of Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu is to act in your nefesh as hard as you can with all your koach, to remove yourself from the derech of Esav, And to do so, you need tremendous amount of emunah. So Rabotai, it all starts and begins with emunah. If you don't have emunah, all your rational words is not going to make sense. It has to do with emunah. And this world is really determined like an ocean. And when you sail in the ocean, you need to see not only to what you see, but beyond the horizon. You have to look to beyond the horizon. And we need also to see into the deep canyons of reality. We need to understand the current of the ocean, not only the waves, also what's going under the surface, not only here, but also what goes beyond the horizon. We need to examine that, and we need to understand that sometimes we need to completely go by emunah, and that takes a lot of skill. Lehavdil lema davar domeh is one of the worst events, for example, for a pilot, is to go into a vertigo. Vertigo is when you don't know one up or one down. So what happens? Let's say you're old, let's say you have a stake. When you pull the stake, the plane goes up. When you push the stake, the plane goes down. But when you invert it, when you're going up and down, when you pull your stake, instead of going up, you're going down. Because you're up and down. You're flying like this, not like that. So what did they tell you to do? Trust your gyro. Trust your gyroscope. So how do they do it? So they take the student, they put him in the plane after he knows how to operate the plane, and they put him in a cabin where he cannot see anything. There's two pilots, one in the front, one in the back. They cover him and they said, okay, now you have to take the plane. They rolled the plane a few times. It says, okay, now you have to balance the plane. Now you're already like dizzy from flying like this. You can't see anything out on the outside because they blacken the whole thing out. How are you going to level your plane? You got to look at your gyroscope. You need to have not just like the technique, which is the hypothetical emunah, but you also have to have the practice, which is the practical emunah, to actually put it into work and do it like this. Not like in words, also when the things really come, to be able to apply emunah when you're completely dark and you don't know what up or what down. Don't just talk about emunah, practice that as well. And to do so all the time, you need to really push away beyond the materialistic reality, and to really examine things and everything that happen to us internally. And we need to control our need to receive all the time and develop the need to give without receiving. And as the Ramchal says, klalo shel davar, the rule, צריך האדם להיות מתבונן בשכלו תמיד. You need to contemplate with your sechel, with your intellect all the time. בכל זמן, ובזמן קבוע לו בהתבודדותו. You have to dedicate time in which you're going to sit there and you're going to contemplate all the time. מהו הדרך האמיתי? רבותיי, what is the true way? לפי חוק HaTorah. You examine your actions, whether they're right or they're wrong, based according to what the Torah had prescribed to us. That is the derech of Yaakov. And the derech of the Torah, she'adam tzarich lalechet ba. That's the path you have to go, not what your grandmother said, or your aunt from Bulgaria says, or your roommate or your classmate. What the Torah wants you to do, because that's ultimately what God wants you to do. And that's the Mesilat Yesharim again. And when you be matzliach to do those birurim, the selection, the separation appropriately, lefi chok HaTorah, according to what the Torah says, the Torah tells you this is bad, this is bad, this is an abomination, so it's an abomination. And we're not talking about your feelings or how you feel about things. The Torah says it's wrong, it's wrong. Of course, everybody to his level. Then the brachot of Yaakov Avinu would stay to us accessible in those times to come. When the difficulties will come to you, and it will come to everybody, then you'll be able to have the appropriate gear to overcome it. So Rabotai, analyze it, internalize it, and apply everything that we learned today for yourself. Otherwise, you get stuck in the mud with a broken axle. Shabbat Shalom.